All right, lads, welcome back to me podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy. Mick Thomas here. Thanks for tuning in, listening, subscribing, liking, sharing. I appreciate you. Hope you're well. Hope you're safe. Hope you're continuing to wash yourselves, you dirty fuckers, because apparently that's where it came from. So, joining me tonight is a very good friend of mine. Comedian, writer, lunatic, my good buddy. Laurie Palmintari. All right, Laurie, how are you?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So how are you settling in? I know you just got back from Florida, not from vacation, but you took a month down there.
I took a month down in Florida. I live here. I live in Queens. My parents live in Florida, so when this shit started going down, I was like, I'm gonna get out of here.
You did too, right? You kind of went on the right as it was happening, where they may have been closing borders and shit, right? Closing down
Yeah.
like the highways and stuff.
Yeah, we went right before that, right before shit got bad. I was gonna go drive down by myself, and then my sister, who has two little kids, decided she wanted to come too and take the kids. So we took a little road trip together. And my nephew is 5, my niece is 2, and they were good. Both car rides got there and back, but it was a good quarantine. All things considered, the month in Florida was fun. I mean, the kids, occupied each other most of the time. They're pretty funny. They have their moments where you want to punch them, but most of the time they're pretty good.
Well, that's the thing about the call, which I noticed from your just your texts and videos and stuff you post on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, is that like it has, for me anyway, brought me closer to my kids.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been really close with my family and those kids, my nephew, my niece. I adore them, but I never spent an entire month with them, so that definitely was some. It was a little bit too much of a bonding time. My nephew, like I said, he's 5. He's really bent on marrying me now.
Okay, all right.
He
I mean,
talks about marrying me all the time. He's like, I'm gonna marry Lori. I just love her, and
he could do better.
I think my mom at one point told him I was too old. I was like, "How about I'm his aunt?" Be the
Yeah,
first thing
yeah.
you bring up. The fact that I'm old.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, really? We're going to step over that one? I guess your parents have been living in Florida too long.
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh, no, but the quarantine thing, though, like it has, like it can either rip you apart or bring you together. And I know, like, especially with my kids, man, because like I've been away from so long, and my relationship is kind of cool with them. When I get home, I spend time with them, and I try to milk as much time as I can with them. But now it's like my son, he's learning the box. He's fucking all. I have the time to teach him. We sword fight every night. But like, and then like my daughter is like, now I bake with her. Like when I go in here now, I'm gonna bake muffins that I'll never eat. But still, like it's really fucking cool, man. Like, and I think it's going, when I go back on the road, it's gonna be hard to go back. I mean, but too much time, like with my son is now following me to the bathroom to tell me these dumb fucking stories, and like you're trying to have a piss while you're closing the door while he's still talking. You're like, yeah, really, really, fuck me.
Right. Well, this is like a dream for the kids. They're like, it's like an extended vacation, summer vacation. So, um,
Oh, it doesn't.
they're not in a panic by any means. Although my
Oh, this.
nephew has a pretty firm grasp on what's going on. Like when we were traveling, and
Of course he does. If you're his fucking aunt.
yeah,
You
he'll be like,
serious?
the sickness. We can't go here because of the sickness. I'm like, that's right, the sickness.
He's only 5 years old, and he's like, oh, that person's gonna have a trouble in a respiratory infection. She's gonna fucking die soon. uh, but like I think this trumps any snow day. Like, you remember snow days?
Yeah,
Like, if you
yeah.
ever got, we didn't really get them in Ireland, but like this is fucking amazing. My daughter was gutted though when she found out the schools were closed in New York for the rest of the year.
Hmm.
She was gutted. But what's the difference of the way it's being handled down in Florida? Now I know your parents very well. They're delightful people. But they're not gone down to like a senior area, because there's no way they could pass as seniors, right?
No. Well, my parents are in their 60s, so yeah, they're seniors technically, but they live like in a
Yeah, on
gated,
paper, right?
yeah, they live in a
Yeah, yeah.
gated community, but my parents are both super healthy. They're both, they're both former athletes themselves. They work out all the time. So if they were, had compromised immune systems by any sort of means, I would have never gone down there, you know.
Right.
But none of us are like, obviously none of us want to get sick, but none of us are particularly concerned if we, none of us want it, but you know, if it wouldn't be threatening for any of us to get it. So that was one of the reasons too. Was like, oh, it's okay. I mean, the climate is just different down there as compared to New York because everything's more spread out, and it could feel that way on Eastern Long Island too, where I mean, the grocery stores are a lot bigger. Everybody wears masks still, but it's not nearly as tense as it is here. Like the tension is, it's getting better in New York, but it's like it's still very much existent.
Well, that's in Queens, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on too, and it's like I have totally bailed on any news or media, um, especially on social media. But I'll see someone like a comic might post up a picture of a park with like 1,000 people on it. I'm like, that's not. Is it real? Is it not real? Like, are people that dumb?
Yeah, there's that one picture where people are super close to Manhattan that I'm not sure is real or not. But I live right next to Astoria Park here in Astoria, which isn't a big park by any means. But the weekend was so nice, and it was teeming with more people than I've ever seen in the park, with the exception of like some sort of like festival happening. But everybody was minding their distance. Everybody was being respectful. I mean, half the people wearing masks, half people aren't. I don't wear a mask when I jog.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't stand it. If I go inside, I'll wear a mask. But it was kind of there. I mean, there were cops everywhere, all over the place. But everybody, there was kind of a sweet moment where these people were not wearing masks and they were playing like a game with each other. And the cop went over there to like tell them that they either had to like stop or put on masks, I guess. But the cop was kind of like laughing as he was telling them, and even they were there. He was like, "I know that this is ridiculous, but like this is what we have to do right now." And everybody like was fine, you know. So the atmosphere was very laid back. Like there were cops on horses just waving to people. It was like I was like, what is this? What is going on? So
Yeah, it's fucking weird, man.
yeah, I mean, some people are like, oh, there's too many people, but at the same time, like going outside is one of the best things you could do. For your exercise,
Oh,
for
without a
your
doubt.
mental health, for your physical health. Like people got to go outside. You can't stay in your house or stay in a room all day. And I know we've talked about this. I said like exercising is just it's so important now more than ever. The corona is especially harsh on people who are obese. So it's like, yeah, don't sit in your house and continue to eat. Get some. You got to work out.
Yeah, and I've been known by a lot of people to kind of. I've got many emails on this show about how I'm not sensitive towards obese people, and I like the way you laugh, and like I've voiced my opinions on it before, and it's like even now I'm like now like can I say it now? Like are we allowed to understand that this fucking is killing heavier people? Like it's fucking so dangerous, man. And I think if anything comes out is that people, instead of blaming, you know, whoever, like fuck China, fuck Trump should have done this that, and I'm not political. I don't pick sides, so that's just based on what I hear. Um, like fuck Como could have done this, or this state could have done that.
Right.
This country had it right. It's like, how about you take on some responsibility yourself and put your own faith in your own hands?
Yeah, I mean nobody. I mean, obviously we're both fit people. I'm a skinny girl. Nobody ever wants to hear it from a skinny girl. And I'm
Yeah.
and I'm fortunate. I mean, I'm fortunate. I have good genetics in that regard. But yeah, I mean, there's so little in life that's under your control, and one of them is what you put in your body. And honestly, I think it should be talked about in the news more about how you're obese, you're affecting your cardiovascular, affecting your lungs. Like that's you're playing the game of fate right there. Not a good one either. That's a so yeah, absolutely. People should be more cognizant of that kind of stuff.
I think what comes, if it comes out of it, is like the gyms are not to blame, but like when you go to a gym, the gym was designed, but it is kind of, and I go to like a Planet Fitness when I go on the road, so I can hit a bunch of them. I go to hotel gyms. I've just been in every kind of gym there is. Usually 99.9% of the people there are there for an image, right? The girls are using up every machine to get their ass big, like machines that are not even designed to get your ass big. They'll figure out a way how to use it. And I think now it should be like, look, now is the time to not worry about image. How about you just get healthy?
Right.
Like just that's, and I think if the gyms come across with that message instead of like fucking, because it's hard, man. Like something you'll see, like I see it all the time. Like you'll see a girl on the treadmill, like a fairly heavy person on the treadmill, and then right walks by is like a 19-year-old fucking this girl that's chiseled in the sexy Victoria's Secret workout, and these girls are like, fuck, like you feel so far away from it and defeated, you know. But instead, but the weird thing is like, and this is what I said to you earlier, is like this, since I was fighting, like this is the best shape I've physically been in. Like I feel it, and I look at, and all I did was is like I went down and I ran around the field for an hour every day, and I stop at these little stations and do pull-ups, push-ups at maybe every 50, 60 feet. There's one of these things. And it's like, I may never go back to a gym again.
Yeah, to that gym point, because I've been in gyms with people who are like not super fit, and I remember them saying to me that they would be self-conscious around me because I'm a fit person. And to me that was so crazy, that notion to me, because I never judge somebody for working out. It's like, oh yeah, if you're a heavy person, you're on a treadmill, or if you're on the track and you're just walking, I'm like, good for you. Like, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, man.
And if you're like, had 3 cheeseburgers in front of you, and John, then I'm probably gonna judge you. But no, man, I absolutely don't judge anybody who's trying to work on it. It's I'm always proud. I'm like, yeah, oh, good for you, man. Keep going.
Yeah, and there's so much that's in your control that you can you know what I was going to do. You know who David Goggins is?
I don't think so.
He's this Marine, and he's this motivating speaker, and he's a fucking lunatic. I follow him on Instagram, and he was just one of these guys that said, he was like 380 pounds, I think. He's like, I don't want to be this anymore. I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. Something snapped in his head, and he went off, and he became a Navy SEAL. And then he went, I'm going to run 100 miles. Out of nowhere, got up off his couch and ran 100 miles. Then he went, I'm going to break the world record in pull-ups. What is it? All right, I'm going to do it. So now it's like the fucking mentality that he has, like something snapped in his brain. So now he's got this thing going on. And I think I might do it, which is something he said that the Navy SEALs used to do, is called 48 for 48. 48 miles for 48 hours. And what it is, so let's say you start at 8 o'clock in the morning. You get up and you run 4 miles. So what would that take you? About 45 minutes, let's say? Right? Okay. So you run 45 minutes, you run 4 miles, however long it takes you. Then you come home, you rest for 4 hours. Then you get up and you run another 4, and you keep doing it, like even all through the night. It's a mental breakdown thing. So like it could be 2 a.m, your alarm goes off, you get up, run 4 miles, come back, sleep another 4 hours, get back up and do it again, and try. So I was thinking of like I might fucking try something like that. But then the other part is like, why, you fucking idiot?
Yeah,
like,
I have no desire to do that. That sounds terrible.
For what reason? What reason? Who are you impressing? So I can put the story on Instagram and go, look, guys, aren't I fucking great?
Yeah, I have no desire to do that. The one thing that sort of did to that, not to that extreme, but that like mentality of like, I'm going to do this, was I rode my bike from where my parents used to live in West Islip out to Montauk Lighthouse, which was 93 miles. With
Jesus, how long did that take you?
Took all day, basically, like 8 hours. I actually did it with Joe Giarratano, who used to do comedy. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, we did it together. This was like right when my parents were moving, so probably like almost 5 years ago. But I always wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it with no training, I mean, whatsoever.
Like you went on the LIE? Sunrise
Highway, yeah. Which we took the long road back. We didn't bike ride back, but yeah, 93 miles. The first 30 miles was like not that bad. You're like, oh yeah, this is good. By 60 miles, I remember my butt hurt so bad for being on the seat. I was like,
Jesus.
At 60 miles, I wanted to quit, but I was also like, well, I did 60 miles, and I got 33 more miles to go. And
fuck.
Oh my god, yeah, it was tough. I remember we got there.
That just sent that I might do something like that now. Like that never dawned on me to do it. Like I might do, like. Fuck, that's awesome.
I would never do it again, or never that distance again. It was way too long. Also, I had a mountain bike, and he had a street bike, and a mountain bike is so much
so his is, yeah. Yeah, his is a lot more, his design for that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I remember the next
But
day, my parents were at the time they were selling their Long Island house, and I was so sore. I mean, my knees were shot, my ass was shot. Like I was just so sore. I couldn't stand up or sit. I had to like be in a fetal position, and I like crawled downstairs and I crawled on the couch and I was just laying there. And my mom was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "I can't move. I'm in a lot of pain." And she was like, "Well,
now, did you went to the
yeah, we
lighthouse?
went straight to the lake house."
Okay.
And she goes, "Well, we're having an open house. You can't just lay here. You look like a crackhead." And they kicked me out. They kicked me out of the house to the open house. I like drove to my cousin's house and I was like, "I just need to lay on your couch all day. I can't move."
That the most I rode was I was up in Allentown at Wisecrackers, and I convinced Mike
Yeah, yeah.
Calcagno, and
There's some great pictures from that.
this is where I fell in love with Walmart. I said we had no workout gear with us because we just went up for the weekend. It wasn't even that cold. I can't remember when. I think it was coming into the late spring, and I saw a flyer. You remember what it's like in, before the comedy club,
Oh
which is in
yeah.
the hotel. There's all these flyers of what's doing in the area. And I saw this mountain. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Rent bikes, whatever it was. So I said, Mike, so we drove to Walmart first thing in the morning and bought like a full, hoodies, t-shirts, pants, socks, sneakers for like $11. And we were like, fuck it, let's go. We drove like maybe 15 miles up to where the mountain was. And we rode 25 miles one way and 25 back. And I was like, fuck, it changes your life, man. Like, this is what the road is supposed to be. Like, I never was a guy who, like, I may go to the movies and kind of squander a day on the road, but a lot of guys will like sit in their hotel room and fucking do drugs or whatever, just wank all day long. But once I did that, I'm like, every time I'm on the road now, like, I find something that's challenging that I can go do.
Yeah, no, I love when I mean a lot of places on the road are there's nothing around, but if there is something around, yeah, I always try to get out and see the area or do something cool. Um, but yeah, I remember you showed me pictures of that. I would love to do that bike ride, but
Yeah, man.
I don't know that doing the road is something that's going to be happening anytime in the near future. So
Yeah, I was going to ask you that when you think it all starts to open up, or if it does, if or when it does, how does it happen? Like, what's the scene going to be like?
I'm not very optimistic for the near future of comedy. I mean, everything's going to open in phases as it's going to have to. New York is going to be the last to open up because we're the most dense and the most affected by this. Um, and I don't think people are going to be quick to go out. I think it's going to be really difficult. I think a lot of clubs are going to close. A lot of places that I played or love to play, I think are going to close. So I think stage time is going to be more scarce than ever. Which I mean, the people who are established headliners, and like industry darlings and stuff. All those people will be all right, but like so a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the little fish, the middle class guys, including myself, I think we're going to be in trouble for a while. I think it'll be a while before shit gets back. I mean, at this point, I'm terrified to go on stage. I don't feel like I know how to do stand up anymore.
Well, what I was doing, what I started recently is I set a goal for myself. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going because I was worried about forgetting my jokes. So I said I sat down my laptop and every night I write out two of my jokes word for word, which I've never done before. Because I don't really write my jokes like word for word. I kind of
I have
sound them on
written it out.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's a different discipline, but I always find I don't know if it's laziness or it just happens to work this way for me. So now I just started. I'm going to write out every joke word for word, and not only is my writing it out helping, but it's like I'm also like, fuck, that's a good tagline. Or what if I'm making it more solid, and I'm trimming like wow, there's a lot of bullshit in this. Let me just change this around. And my goal is to come out of it and then slowly just get the hour together and kind of record it and get what I mean, try to get it out. But as I'm typing, I'm like, all right, good. But like I have to kind of wait, how does this go again? Like it's scary, man, to think you could like I got a call on Saturday from a comedy club and I wasn't available, right? But he said, are you willing to do a Zoom party for 40 minutes? And I couldn't, right? I was out, but a part of me was kind of a little glad that I couldn't because I was terrified.
Right. Yeah, well,
you
it's
know?
such a that's a
Um,
it's. I mean, I know a lot of comics are doing it, but it's and I'm not I don't begrudge anybody for doing it. Certainly not, but it's a different medium altogether. It's like, hey, you're used to you know, coloring with color pencils, but now here's a canvas and here's a different paintbrush, and now you have to do the same thing. You're like, wait, what? I can't though. Like, it's totally different. You understand? This is totally different. Um,
yeah, but like I was like, and a part of me is like I said, I was glad I couldn't do it, right? Because it just happened in the middle of something that was going on, and I physically wasn't around to do it. But like, if they'd said, "Yeah, go ahead and like do it," I wouldn't know. Like, what do I do? Like, do I just start my
right.
act? Like, and my act involves movement. It involves energy. It involves what direction I'm looking when I deflect a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's like, how do I do that into a room? Or like, if it was something different, like I remember this, I had probably one of the worst gigs I ever had last year, and I call up the guy who booked me. I went, never again. And I mean, I told a story on an earlier episode where the people were so fucking rude to me. Like, I was supposed to do half an hour, and I did maybe 10 minutes, and because I just quit. And I remember like turning around, there's a TV over my head, and Bill, you know what it was, when Bill Burr's new special came out, so that'll tell you whatever date that was. And I remember saying to everybody, "Because guys, Bill Burr's special just came out. Let's just put that on. We'll all watch it, and it's going to be way funnier than what I'm going to fucking say to you." So then, like after 10 minutes, I quit because they were like so rude. But then what happens is like I was in the kitchen, right, waiting for them to pay me, and I was talking to a group of them, and I would go from group to group, and then they were dying laughing. I was like, all right, maybe this is a thing. Maybe just hire me to walk around, talk to your guests instead of perform for them.
Right.
You know? So I'm like, right, is this the new stand up now? Like where you just do that? You go into a room, you just talk to people instead of just fucking say, hey, the other day I was,
Yeah, no,
you know?
I know people who've done it. There's definitely like a little bit of a different art and science to it. I know guys who are like doing Corona type jokes, and it's a little bit more interactive. They're not even really doing their straight, like, their straight act, what it was. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, anything to work out the muscle or make a little bit of money. I mean, fortunately, we both have other jobs, which before this we hated having other jobs, and now I'm like, thank God, thank God I have this part-time job. Um,
Now, are you still writing at
I'm not
least?
really writing stand-up. I write other things. I write essays. I'm working on a treatment. I mean, I write any joke I write. I usually ends up going on social media. I used to be
Okay, yeah.
really diligent about sitting down and writing bits, but I feel like I don't have anything to talk about really. And then if you visit social media, it's like I'm getting aggravated with a lot of comedians because they're making the same jokes as each other, and it's like, dude, just scroll through your feed a little bit before you make this joke. I mean, like, the same people are posting the jokes.
It's it's not even that, man. It was even when like any Trump joke has been
Oh
done.
yeah,
Any Trump joke has
it's
been done before. Like even if it hasn't,
yeah,
it's done.
that's been going on before
And
since before this. I was just getting so sick of Trump jokes in general, especially when the punchline was just Trump is stupid, Like, and I don't care what your
yeah,
opinions
yeah.
are. I really do not care either way. I'm just such a joke purist. It's like, to me, that's not a good punchline. Like, come up with something that's gonna surprise me. But yeah, no, that's getting bad. But there's no like, things. There's nothing else to talk about really. There's no way to bounce people.
Well, I couldn't write for the longest time because I felt dishonest. Right? It's like what am I going to write? Like what's my whole life is revolved around this, and I can't. And I've said this before a bunch of times already on the podcast, and I can't just go like, let's say day one, I go back on stage, and all of a sudden I go, so the other night I
Right,
was at the
right.
movies. The answer, no, you weren't.
Same.
You
I'm like, hey,
liar.
am
You
I
were
dating?
quarantined.
I'm like, I haven't been
Right?
dating.
Yeah, you've been locked up. Like you know what I mean. And it's like, and then every comic, but the this week alone, I wrote three new premises and bits down, which are probably maybe could be another 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, and are not coronavirus related at all. I kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if it's just a muscle that happened to be turned on that day, but all 3 came to me the same day. I jotted them down. I kind of went to work on them. So I'm like, all right, good. There's like light at the end of my tunnel, you know?
Yeah,
For
that's great. I
writing.
mean, that happens. I always have to sort of trust the process in that sense, or the times where I feel like really creatively blank, that shit does happen. Like all of a sudden you're like, yeah, then you have like a bunch of things and you kind of hit it, you kind of hit a strike. Um I mean, I'm definitely not alone. I'm definitely not alone in this, but having such a hard time staying motivated lately. It's just so hard. Everything seems so pointless. And I know that's like felt
Yeah, man.
not even just comedians or writers, but like everybody everywhere feels that. That's not um an isolated.
I think I think a lot of people are going to quit because I think number one, some of them weren't good enough to be around anyway. So they went back home, right, or from wherever they live. And I think another thing is like some guys who went home now, they're like, "Fuck, this is so
Yeah.
much better."
Oh yeah.
Like,
A lot of people are gonna quit.
you know what I mean? Like they're like, "Oh wait,
It's gonna be
this
some
is
people
what
you're
life
like,
is
yeah, they
like."
should have quit a long time ago. There's gonna be a lot of people you're like, damn, that person is really good. They shouldn't have quit. But you're right. There's 2 schools. Some people are gonna be forced out of New York because they can't afford it. A lot of people, it's gonna be happen to a lot of people. Stage time will become more scarce. It'll just be harder to get up. But people will reevaluate what's important to them. I mean, I feel that within myself too. I'm like, what's really important to me, um, and what makes me happy, and time is the most. Time is really the only real currency that there is. So it's like, how
Yeah.
are you gonna spend that? But I mean, it's
The,
it's gonna be
go ahead. Sorry.
interesting, I guess, to see how things unfold. It'll probably also be infuriating, but
It's gonna be, but you know what made me kind of like, and I do like a part of me is like, it's always like I miss the road, I miss new people, I miss towns, because especially for me, because I'm not from here, right, and I'm a traveler by nature. Like I just like to travel and see stuff, so like I do miss that aspect of the road. The amount of times I could have flown to gigs where I said, no, let me fucking drive because I want to stop here, I want to stop there, and I don't like the 7-Elevens and the Starbucks. I like the mom and pop type of stuff, But the weird thing today, I was driving on the LIE. I was coming back from Smithtown, Long Island, and I saw something that I legit forgot about. I mean, like forgot, it never dawned on me, because we're in this now. What 2
yeah,
months
it's
now,
out.
right? Right, and I saw a traffic, like there was an accident on one side of the road. The LIE was backed up for maybe 3 or 4 miles, and I was like, "Oh, traffic jams." Like stuck in traffic. I remembered that. Like, do you remember coming home like late from a gig and maybe the gig didn't go too well, or if it just went okay, you got paid, it was shit, whatever. You drove home, you got to get up there in the morning, all of a sudden you're like about 2 hours from home, and
Oh
all of a
yeah.
sudden, fuck, red lights, and you're stuck there. And I forgot. I wasn't trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to exaggerate the truth. Like I forgot about traffic jams.
Yeah, some things
It was
you
the
quickly get out of your
weirdest
head. You're
feeling.
like, I don't need any more of that shit.
And I only used to get them either leaving Long Island, mainly leaving Long Island, or coming back from probably Jersey or
Oh yeah.
Connecticut. Those were the ones you're like, oh, fuck me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot traffic jams. It's fucking
Yeah,
insane.
traffic jams absolutely suck. They're terrible. Yes.
Good job for stating the obvious there. But yeah, so when I asked you to be on, I was like, oh, shit, yeah, Laurie. But the one thing I kind of like, I love having Laurie on because she's so honest. And then the other reason I hate having you on is because you're so honest. And it's like, it's fucking, like, I remember I called you when this started, like, and before, like, I knew it was going to be a thing, but you're like, oh, for sure, people are going to die. Oh, for sure. Everyone's losing their job. Oh, for sure. And then not only that, like, the only comfort I had, which is, I swear to God, I had grown this by accident. I just realized I forgot to shave in about 2 weeks. And my beard was like getting big and bushy, and it became almost like a security blanket. And my beard got bigger and bigger, and I liked it. And then you were like, "Oh, for sure, you got to shave that off. It lives in beards." I'm like, "Fuck!"
Like bacteria lives in beards.
God damn it, Laurie. Yeah, like the coronavirus lives in beards now. And then I was like, fuck. So I contemplated shaving. I contemplated. Then I saw something online. I was like, yeah, it lives in beards. I'm like, fuck, she was right this whole
Yeah,
time.
well, actually, now I'm turning out to be, but for a while, I mean, I was really spot on about how this was going to play out, and everybody was saying how pessimistic I was being. I was like, April's gonna be, all of April's gonna be closed. Nothing. People were like, that's ridiculous. And I was like, no. I was like, it's peak in April. Nothing's happening in April. I was like, yeah. And then
I was like,
I
holy
have
shit, you were right.
But I'm a hypochondriac, so I like have always pretty heavily followed disease patterns. So I was all over Corona before it was sort of popping off. But it's even actually it's turning out to be even longer than I thought it's going to be. I thought by now things would be trickling back. But I guess technically they are, but just very slowly.
Yeah, but what happens when different states start to open up before New Year? Like I got a friend in Texas, and she's like, "Yeah, we're going to open up in a week or two." I'm like, well, why can't I go into Texas then and start working at a comedy club down there?
A lot of what happens to the more dense states is going to depend on what happens with those states that open back up. And honestly, as long as people, are still sanitary, they still space out. I mean, we can't like open everything right away, obviously. I mean, when they were talking about opening bowling alleys, I was like, why don't we just close all bowling alleys for good? Like,
yeah, bowl.
Why?
Bowling that, like, that's you
like,
fucking Americans.
But yeah, I think absolutely the clubs in the Midwest are going to open up before anything around here. I assume they're going to have to do like half capacity and space all tables apart, and same with restaurants too, is space everything apart. And see how it goes from there. And a part of me is like, people will be itching to get out, and then a part of me is like, people are not going to want to go. People are going to have real PTSD from this.
Yeah, I was thinking two things when you go back to the comedy clubs is people who will be shot on the spot are number one is a heckler. A heckler should be shot now based on like, how fucking dare you, how long we've waited to get up here, and you're going to do this, you piece of shit. And I think any comic that blows the light. I think
they should fine hecklers. Wouldn't that be great? It's like, okay, if you heckle, you are fined like $100, and that money goes to the comedian.
Yeah, but how do you define that though when you have an MC
right?
who talks to the crowd?
It's a little bit
and also
that'd be great?
Define a heckler. You know what I mean? Like that.
Great. You're like, yeah, you do this.
Oh, it would be fantastic.
You're gonna get fined. You're gonna get kicked out or fined, and then you're like, oh, then I'd be like, yeah, please heckle me. Let me make an extra $400 on this gig.
Yeah, that's always a gray area with me though. Like to find a heckler. Like sometimes you get people who just want to be in the like they want to enjoy themselves, and it's like they don't realize they're being disruptive. Like, yeah, that is true. We do that, and then all of a sudden you go, hey, sweet, and they go, oh, I'm so sorry, and then you get some fucking people who double down and just keep, won't die. You know what I mean? But then the comic that doesn't get off, like we've been waiting so long now to get on stage. I don't know if someone posted this or not, or if I was in the back of my mind, but like if you get on stage and you blow the light when you've got a line of comics waiting to get the fuck back up on stage again, like you should be shot too. That person should be shot. Like right in the head, just dragged off like the Wild West meets vaudeville. Just instead of the hook, you just walk up and you just shoot him with a 6-shooter revolver, and you just drag his body off the stage.
Something a little bit less violent than that I thought was genius a few years ago was that the bouncer should have super soakers, and if you're heckling or being an asshole, the bouncer can come over and soak you with the super soaker, because nobody wants to be sitting down with wet clothes. It's terrible, So, and it's also like, obviously you're not gonna get hurt though. Nobody gets hurt with the super soaker, but it's embarrassing. You're wet, so like, just imagine
you wrecked her hair
with the super soaker, just ready to go. You really think people would be heckling that guy? No.
Some guy with awesomely gelled hair, and he's on a date.
And just soaks him down, and then you're like, I just think it would solve so many problems.
Think of girls up front with white t-shirts, like, please heckle. You just go, what did you say, you loud bitch? Hey, Louie, get her.
The poor girl's like, hey, can I please get a Cosmo? The guy's just soaking her. Just crying.
Oh, fuck. All right, we're gonna leave it at that. Tell people where they can find you and what to look for. I'm a big fan of your blogs, by the way.
My blog, I post one every week. I post it on social media, on my Facebook or my Twitter at Lori Palmintari. And it's on my website, lauriepalmintari.com. Obviously, I don't have any dates posted, but I do try to put out some fun content or insightful content when I can.
Yeah, you are one of the funniest on there online with your jokes.
Yeah,
Very
thank
sharp,
you.
very clean, very fast. And anyway, I appreciate you coming on the show, Laurie. Thanks so much. Stay safe, stay well, and
Yeah, man.
reach out if you need anything.
We'll go biking one day soon.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to do that Montauk challenge? I'm in. I
Well,
swear
maybe
to
not
God,
the
I'm
Montauk
in.
Challenge, but maybe another one. They get some trails out
Yeah,
there.
you pick a location, or we'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. There's plenty of them out here, I think. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Any comments, concerns, questions, send them to my Instagram, Mick Thomas Comedy, and I'll answer. I will get back to you either publicly or privately. Take care of yourselves. Hope you stay safe. You're happy, you're healthy, and wash yourselves, you dirty fuckers. Thanks so much. Good luck to you now. Good luck.